Hello, my name is Anthony Murphy. In this presentation, I will be discussing cultural responsive teaching, supporting the needs of English learners, and building a strong homeschool community partnership. Throughout my practicum and my teaching experience, I observed how students' culture, language, and family experiences positively influence learning and classroom engagement. Cultural responsive teaching. Cultural responsive teaching influences how students communicate, learn, interact with others, and make sense of new information. Students bring a unique cultural values, traditions, experiences, and perspectives in the classroom. As a teacher, it is important to recognize these assets and use them to support learning. Cultural competency is a teacher's ability to understand, respect, effectively respond to students from a diverse cultural background. For English language learners, cultural competency helps create a learning environment where students feel valued, understood, and supported. Reasons research has shown by Gay indicated that cultural responsive teachings connect students to cultural experiences to classroom instruction, making learning more meaningful and engaging. During my practicum and teaching experience, my mentor, teacher, and I have encouraged students to share their cultural backgrounds and personal experiences. One activity involved students discussing countries they are or their families came from, and planning and explaining how their lives changed after coming to America. I've observed students becoming more engaged, confident as they share their stories. Their classmates also developed a greater appreciation for different cultures and perspectives. Another powerful experience occurred while I was reading the novel Resdog. Students com- completed a during after this reading, students completed a group project that examined the themes and experiences described in the book. During the discussion, students shared how their own family backgrounds helped them understand challenges and strengths of the characters. Several students spoke about how their families had overcome obstacles and hardships to create a better opportunity for future generations. I've observed that many students have connected the resilience shown in the novel to their own family experiences. Their personal stories have brought clarity, in depth to classroom discussions, and highlighted the strengths they brought to school every day. Their experiences reinforce that what Mall and colleagues 92 described as funds of knowledge or their valuable cultural knowledge and expertise experiences students bring from home. Cultures play an important role in language acquisition as well. When students feel respected and representative, they're more willing to participate, take risks, and practice language skills. Creating an inclusive classroom requires cultural relevant materials, respectful classroom discussions, and opportunities for students to share their experiences. Supporting the needs of all EL learners in the classroom, English learners have diverse strengths, needs, and identities. Effective instruction requires teachers to provide multiple supports while maintaining high expectations for all students. Some strategies include visual supports, modeling, sentence framing, cooperative learning, graphic organizers, and differentiation instructions. These strategies help students access content while continuing to develop language skills. During my 2 years of teaching, I have worked closely with several English language learners. One of the most inspiring observations was the willingness of English language learner students to seek support from both teachers and peers. I observed students working collaboratively with classmates who were native English speakers. These interactions created opportunity for language development, academic growth, and relationship building. I noticed that many of my EL students demonstrated remarkable preservation, which faced with language challenges. Rather than giving up, they accepted help from me, my mentor, and their peers. Likewise, non-EL students often provide encouragement and support, creating an inclusive learning environment where students learn from one another. These experiences remind me that supporting ELs is not only about academic accommodations, but also about fostering confidence, belonging, positive peer relationships. Research from the National Academic of Science, Engineering, and Medicine highlighted the importance of creating supportive environments that address both academic and social emotional needs. Understanding students' social, emotional, and cultural needs is essential when establishing a classroom routine and procedures. I have found that predictable routines help students feel secure and allow them to focus on learning. During my practicum and my teaching experience, I've observed that clear expectations and supportive languages contribute to the increased student participation and confidence. Home and school connections, strong family partnerships are critical for students' success. Families possess valuable knowledge, experiences, traditions, and skills that contribute to students' learning. Families and communities practice influence language learning through storytelling, communication, culture and traditions, and daily experiences. Teachers can strengthen learning by recognizing these assets and connecting classroom instruction to students' lives outside of school. One strategy my mentor teacher and I used was having students write letters inviting their families to attend an open house. This was the first time that parents were interacting with teachers and the school administration in a non-threatening way. This activity encouraged families' involvement while allowing students to practice authentic communication skills. Families were welcomed as partners to the educational process, and students took pride sharing their work and accomplishments. A part of this activity, students were the guide. They were the leader of this activity. I observed how families' experience influenced students' attitudes towards education through this activity. Several of my students have discussed how their families have overcome challenges, including language barriers, relocation, limited educational opportunity. These stories highlighted the resilience that students and families bring to the school community. Effective family engagement practices include communication in home languages when possible, family events, conferences, cultural celebrations, and opportunities for families to share their knowledge and experiences. School can also partner with community organizations to provide additional resources and support. Through these experiences, I've learned that family engagement is the most successful, and educators recognize and value the strengths that families bring rather than focusing on perceived deficits. I have found that when families feel respected and included, students are more likely to experience academic and social success. In addition to these classroom experiences, my understanding of challenges faced by English learners come from a personal experience within my own family. My sister-in-law immigrated from Mexico over 30 years ago when she was married to my brother. At that time, she had not completed her formal high school education and spoke very little English. Over the years, I watched her learn English through determination, hard work, and support from my brother and our family. She eventually became an American citizen and worked at the same adult rehabilitation hospital for more than 30 years. However, one of her greatest accomplishments was raising my nephew. He is now a mathematics and physics professor at the University of Arkansas. Watching her overcome language barriers, educational challenges, and cultural adjustments has given me deep appreciation for the resilience and perseverance of English learners. Her determination has inspired me to become an educator who supports students learning English and help them recognize their own strengths and potential. Whenever I work with English learners, I've often think about the perseverance she demonstrated, and how important encouragement, patience, and support can be in helping students achieve their goals. My practicum and teaching experiences have reinforced the importance of cultural responsive teaching, supported English learners, and built meaningful partnerships with families and communities. Activities such as sharing their countries of origin, discussing personal connections to books like ResDoc, collaborating with peers, and involved families through open house invitations. I have observed students' cultural language experiences enrich the classroom that I share with those students. These experiences have demonstrated that English learners possess a valuable strength, resilience, and knowledge that contributes to their own success and success of their peers. As an educator, it is our responsibility to create an inclusive classroom that honors the assets and supports every student's growth. Thank you for listening to me.